Hi there, this is Love Johar. Thank you so much for tuning into this video and thank you so much for joining this channel. If you have not subscribed already, I would highly request you to subscribe right now because we would be discussing the new standards that have been created by ISO. As you can see that there are two new standards being created now, revised actually. Uh, One is 27001 2022 and the other one is 27002 2022. So we would be looking at both these standards. Already started creating videos. This is the second one in the series, so would highly request you to subscribe right now so that you can get the most out of it. In this particular video we would be discussing about a very important control, which is a part of the 27002 2022, the standard that has been published by ISO. So we would be discussing upon that, and the control that today we would be discussing would be uh, related to policies for information security and information security policy. Again, this is a new control. Uh, like it's a part of the new revised standard which is created by ISO. So try to understand this video very carefully so that you can get the most out of it. I would be reading directly. I would be telling you directly from the new standard itself, so that there is no gap. So this is the new control. What it says. Okay. So the new control, it says that information security policy and topic specific policies. So we will come to that later. What do we understand by topic specific policies? These are different policies that you see at the back of this particular video. You see different types of policies. You see data classification, encryption, access control. These are actually the topic specific policies that are being referred to here in this particular statement by ISO. So all statements that I would be displaying using this method would be directly from the standard itself. You can keep a note of it because people sometimes face challenges noting down everything what I say. So I will be displaying it now in short snippets like this. Okay. So hope that is helpful. Now let us try to understand this control first, because understanding the control is very important. So information security policy and topic specific policies should be defined and approved by management, and they should be published and they should be communicated to and acknowledged by all the relevant personnel and relevant interested parties and reviewed at planned intervals and if significant changes occur. So this is the control statement. This is what the standard says. Okay. And what is the purpose here? Before understanding the purpose, let us go back and let us try to understand the control itself. So what they are trying to say is information security policy and topic specific policies. So first of all, try to understand that there are two types of policies here. One is information security policy, which is a very high level document. You can also say that it's a top level information security policy. Some people call it that. And other are topic specific policies, which you can see at the back. So all these policies should be defined. Okay. All these policies should be defined. They should be approved, properly approved. Okay. And they should be published. There should be a place in your organization. You must be having either an intranet site or a website where you should publish them inside your organization. That's what it is asking for. Okay. It should be communicated to and acknowledged by relevant personnel. Some of the policies should be communicated to the employees, some of the policies should be communicated to the suppliers. That's what it is saying. Whoever is the relevant personnel and whoever is the interested party, I have already told you two parties. Third party could be the contractual requirements, the regulatory requirements. We will come to that as well. These are the relevant parties where you should be informing about these policies that you have created. And last but not the least, they should be reviewed at planned intervals. And if there are any significant changes occur, we will also discuss when these significant changes occurs and what are these significant changes, because here it does not mention that. But now when we will go in depth just after a few minutes, you will understand when do we have to review, what are these intervals, and what are these significant changes. I will cover that as well. Okay, so this is about the control. Hope it is clear now regarding the control. Now coming to the purpose, what is the purpose of this particular control? So purpose here is to ensure continuing suitability, adequacy, effectiveness of management direction. Management direction word is very important here, guys, because they want to enforce here the direction of the management of your organization and their support for information security in accordance with your business, your legal, your statutory and regulatory and contractual requirements. That's what it says here. Okay, so in the purpose, it's trying to say that it's trying to enforce the direction of the management, and it shows that the management is entirely in support for maintaining a information security management system in accordance with all the requirements. Okay, now we have discussed control, now we have discussed purpose. Now coming to the guidance, what is the guidance by the ISO 27002 standard? Now what the standards wants us to do. Now here it starts. Okay, now here the guidance starts, which is very in depth and very appropriate, I would say. I have gone through it once just before creating this video, and I was amazed at how much details that they have provided now. So I will tell you now, it is much detailed now. So guidance, at the very highest level, the organization should define an information security policy, which I told already told you in the beginning, which is a very top level document. uh, what should be there, we would all also discuss just after this, what should be there in that top level policy also, because it gives you directions on that as well. Okay, so don't think that when I say that this is a top level policy, I will not tell you what exactly that policy will have. Okay, so we will discuss that as well. So which is approved by top management. Again, it is asking about approvals. Again, second, it is emphasizing on approving by top management, and which sets out the organization approach to managing its information security. That's what it's trying to say. Okay, so this is the clear guidance. And now what the information security policy should take into consideration. Okay, so the information security policy should take into consideration requirements derived from a business strategy and requirements. What is the business strategy that you have? What is the requirements of that business strategy? And second is regulations. What are the regulations that you have to comply with? What are the legislation? And if there are any contracts that abide you by following a certain information security protocol, that you have to mention in this information security policy. This is very high level, we will go into depth as well. Many people would not understand what do you mean by business strategy and requirements. So if you are that person, feel free to comment on this video. I will explain that. And regulations, legislation and contracts, I'm sure everybody would understand. So just to give you an overview of business strategy and requirements, it depends entirely upon what is the future of the business and where the business wants to be in the future. So for example, if you are exploring the business into new markets, what are the risks associated with that market? What are the kind of challenges, security challenges, information security challenges, data security challenges related to that market? That is the strategy of the business. What is the future of the business? How the business will grow in the future? What are the information security related challenges that the business might face? that you have to address in this information security policy. That is what it means by this statement: business strategy and requirements. Hope it is clear now. After that, it shows that you must also incorporate under C the current and projected information security risks and threats, which is, I think, a very important statement by itself. You should incorporate the relevant information security risks and threats, because that is the main reason why you are creating this policy at the first place. So that is very important, guys. So you should do that. That is what it is saying as well. Okay. So these are the consideration requirements what the information security policy should take into consideration. And now there are some more requirements that I am discussing here. Just give me a second. So now, in the next step, it is saying that the information security policy should contain statements concerning a definition of information security, b information security objectives or the framework for setting information security objectives. So three things again it is saying now. Now it is talking about statements. Okay, what kind of statements should be there? What should be there? Okay, definition of information security. What do you understand by information security? How do you define it in your organization? It should be there. Information security objectives, again, why you are doing it is your information security objective. We have already made it clear in the just a few minutes ago. Or the framework for setting information security objectives. If you are following any set of frameworks, you should also mention them over here. That is what it is asking us to do. Okay. Now, after that, it says we should also include principles to guide all activities relating to information security and commitment to satisfy applicable requirements related to information security. So, what are the principles that we are following? We should have different types of principles like, uh, you know, uh, confidentiality, integrity, availability. CIA is one of the important principles that we follow everywhere in information security. So you should mention that confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the core principles that your policy is based upon, things like that. Okay. And after that, it says commitment to satisfy applicable requirements. Again, it is talking about the requirements related to the legislative and contractual requirement or regulatory requirement. Okay. If there are any thing that you want to mention regarding that, you can do that over there as well in the policy. After that, it says commitment to continual improvement of the information security management system. ISMS always focus upon the continual improvement part, guys. Try to understand this is very important. Nobody mentions it anywhere, and I have seen very less emphasis on this part, especially. How would you ensure the continual improvement of the ISMS? Is a very important thing that you should be considering while defining the policy. There are different ways to do that. One thing I would suggest here would be to do a risk assessment and risk treatment. Continual exercise on a periodic interval is one way to do that. Okay, how you continually improve the ISMS within your organization. There could be different ways as well, but you have to show a clear commitment, a way of how to do that in the policy itself. After that, it says assignment of responsibilities. This is very important, and I will be creating a separate video after this, because again this is a separate control altogether that the new standard has 27002. So assignment of responsibilities for information security management to define roles and responsibilities. Okay, so here you have to actually assign the roles to certain people who would be actually responsible for managing. each and everything that you are actually laying out into the policy itself. Now, why is this important, guys? Without appropriate roles and responsibilities in place, you would only be laying out the information security policy, and it would be of no use unless somebody is following those, protocols. So that's where you need to have roles and responsibilities matrix in place. After that, you have procedure for handling exemptions and exceptions. Now, why is this important and what is this? First of all, okay, exemptions and exceptions, there would always be exceptions, guys. There would not be a case where all the things will fall under the same umbrella each and every time, because business has a lot of different integral elements, and there are different verticals where changes come. So there would be exceptions, so to the policy as well that you have created, there might be reasons why sometimes you might have to follow a certain different protocol. So how would you handle those exceptions should also be detailed out here. Who would be responsible for handling those exceptions, who for who you should consider, who you should take approval from in under those circumstances, who you should reach out to under those exceptions, would be something that should be mentioned here as well. Okay, so very important question, might be important from an interview point as well. Top management only should approve any changes to the information security policy. Okay, so again, very important statement. You, if you want, you can have a note of it. Executive management, top level management is only authorized to approve any changes to the information security policy, nobody else in the organization. Okay, by top management I refer to the C level people. Okay, that's what it means by the top level management. It could be directors, it could be executives, depending upon the different organization structures that you have out there. It could be different for different companies. Top level means the topmost layer in the organization. Okay, now coming to the interesting part, which is the different topic specific policies that are displayed on the background as well. Different topic specific policies. Now it says at a lower level, the information security policy should be supported by topic specific policies as needed to further mandate the implementation of information security controls. Topic specific policies are typically structured to address the needs of certain target groups within an organization or to cover certain security areas, which is absolutely fine. Completely agree with that. Topic specific policies should be aligned with and complementary to the information security policy of the organization. So this is very important line. I should tell you that this is very important line. You should keep a note of this. Topic specific policies should be aligned with and complementary to the information security policy of the organization. For example, if you have created a data classification policy, it should be aligned with the top level information security policy that you have created. If you are mentioning one thing in the top level policy relating to or somehow relating to the data classification, it should not be a case where it is entirely different in this policy. It should be somehow a subsection or a sub part of that top level policy, and it should be aligned with it and complementary to the information security policy. It should not deviate from the information security policy, the top level policy. That's what the standard is trying to say here. This is very important. Okay, now what are the topic specific policies? Here the standard lays out that as well. What are the examples of such topic specific policies? As I've already mentioned, in the background you see different policy inclusions from the beginning of the video. So these are the examples of such policies. They include access control, physical and environmental security. Different types of policies are there, topic specific policies which are already there. So we would be discussing about them as well shortly, but here just wanted to give you an overview of what are those topic specific policies: networking security, information security, incident management, backup, cryptography and key management, information classification and handling, management of technical vulnerabilities. These are all the different topic specific policies that it is discussing about. Okay, I did not want to keep this video very long, so I will just end. Just give me a couple of minutes. I will try to end this one control, then we will stop this video. I hope this is being of value to you, because I think sharing the context from the standard itself makes more sense rather than reading it out. So if you like this way of telling me, just let me know in comment section. Okay. So now it says in this control itself, the responsibility for the development, review, and approval of the topic specific policies now should be allocated to the relevant personnel based on their appropriate level of authority and technical competency. Now it is saying that the responsibility for all the topic specific policies, like these policies that we have already discussed here, and it is very important line, so you should keep a note of this as well from an interview perspective as well, where it said that the information security policy approval should go to the top level management. Now it is saying that for these policies, the topic specific policies it calls it, should be allocated to relevant personnel based on their appropriate level of authority and technical competency. It is not saying that it should go to the top level management here, so you should keep a note of it. Okay. The review of these policies should include assessing opportunities for improvement of the organization information security policy and topic specific policies, and managing information security in. Now here it comes when the review should be done. Okay. Now, when I told you at the beginning of the video, I will tell you when and how the review should be done. Now here it comes, that part. The review should include, first of all, what should the review include? The review should include assessing opportunities for improvement of the organization information security policy. Is there an opportunity of improvement? First of all, that you have to assess. And topic specific policies. This should be done for review, should be done for both of them, the top level security policy and the topic specific policy as well. And managing information security in response to changes. Okay. What are these changes now? That is the main question. First change is the organization's business strategy, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video as well. If you have not watched it, let me rephrase it. A business strategy could be defined in many ways, guys. What is the objective of the business? What does the business wants to achieve in the next 5 years? What does the business want to achieve in the next 20 years? These are all the things that you consider under strategy. What is the outcome that you want your customers to have? What kind of customers do you want to have? Are you going into a government sector? Are you going into a new sector in the market where there are different compliance requirements? Is your business going to European markets? These are different types of business strategy decisions that are made in the organization. So if there is any change related in the business strategy, then you have to change these policies. That's what it clearly says out. And this is, I think, it should be the most primary reason of reviewing and assessing these policies once again. Okay. It makes entirely sense, because why? Because you are doing it for the business in the first place itself. You are doing it for the business, you are doing it for the information, the data of the organization, which is the critical asset, why we are doing all these things in the first place. Okay. So if business changes, that is the first thing you have to make sure that you review these policies and reassess them. Okay. Second is the organization's technical environment. Have you moved to cloud? Have you recently reallocated all the assets that you had for infrastructure assets? Have you reallocated them to a different data center? Or have you moved to cloud? Or have you moved to a different location altogether? These are all different types of technical environment decisions that you must take into consideration while where you have to review and reassess these policies. That would be the suggestion from the standard itself. After that, you should review them in case of any regulations, statutes, or legislation or contractual changes that you might oversee in the future. Any changes in the information security risks that you have, any current and projected information security threat environments, or any lessons learned from information security events and incidents. That's what it says. Okay, which is very self-explanatory. So I will not, you know, go into depth on that. The review after that, it says the review of information security policy and topic specific policies should take the result of management reviews and audits into account as well. Review and update of other related policies should be considered when one policy is changed to maintain consistency. So I think this is very important. So I should mark it here as well for you to understand this part. The review of information security policy and topic specific policies should take the results of management reviews and audits into account. For example, what it is trying to say here is any audits that you have in your organization or any management review meetings that you have in your organization, if there are any discussions related to the policies, so that should be also taken into account when you review the policies or reassess them. Okay, the management might have a different overview on some of the policies that they might want to you to reassess or review them, or it could be a result of any audits that recently have happened in your organization. So that's where it says that. After that, it says review and update of other related policies should also be considered when one policy is changed to maintain consistency. This is very important. For example, if you change one policy which is directly related with any other policy, uh, so it should maintain consistency. Again, there should not be a case where there are deviations between different policies. If one policy is pointing in one direction, the other policy should also point the reader in the same direction itself. That is what it is trying to say. After that, it says information security policy and topic specific policies should be communicated to relevant personnel and interested parties in a form that is relevant, accessible, and understandable to the intended reader, which is, I think, self explanatory. So it should be understandable to your audience. That's what it is trying to say. Whatever you create, whatever policies, you should not include too many technical jargons into it, or too many technicalities that the end user is at the end of the day not able to understand what the hell you have trying to say in the policy itself. So that's what it is trying to say. uh, Recipients of the policies should be required to acknowledge, they understand and agree to comply with the policy where applicable. This line is very important, and I would highlight it here so that you keep a note of it. Recipients of the policy should be required to acknowledge, they understand, and agree to comply with the policies where applicable. Can anyone tell me why this is important? If I can see a lot of you watching this video, can anyone tell me why it is important? I will wait for a few seconds. It is very important. Why somebody should acknowledge it? Okay, maybe my net connection is bad. I'm not getting any responses. Anyways, so you have to have an acknowledgement and agreement from the users that they comply with the policy. It is very important. Unless somebody agrees that they comply with the policy, you would not be sure that the person has read the policy and completely understands it. Sometimes people will say that we haven't even read the policy itself at the end of the day. Then what will you do? If you make sure that people agree and comply with the policies, then you are certain that they have read the policy, they understand it, and they comply with it. They say that I do agree with the policy. They either sign it or they digitally sign it, but they ensure that they have read the policy. And once they do it, it's their obligation to make sure that they fulfill that complete requirement. That's why it is important, and it is very important. Otherwise people will say that, okay, I might have skipped it, or I might have not have read the policy that you have created. Okay, so it is important that you get acknowledgement. After that, it says the organization can determine the formats and names of these policy documents that meet the organization needs, which is, I think, very fine and self explanatory. We can change the names. ISO has already always been very flexible. I would very appreciate that. ISO has always been very flexible with any of the suggestions, also any of the directions, also as per the organization's needs. It always says that. Here also it says that we can change the name of the policy documents as well, if depending upon the organization needs. So yeah, that is what it says here. In some organizations, the information security policy and topic specific policies can be a single document as well. So now many people ask whether it should be a single document of 100 pages, 500 pages, or 1000 pages, or how many pages. So here it says that in some organizations, the information security and topic specific policies can be a single document. Let me also highlight this, because many people ask me this as well, whether we can create one document, whether we should create 10 documents, whether we should create 15 documents. So here it clearly says out, guys. I think this will actually eliminate most of the doubts in many minds of the people. In some organizations, the information security policy and topic specific policies can be a single document, guys. So make sure that you understand this. There is no harm there. It is clearly laying it out now. Okay, the organization can name these topic specific policies as standard directives, policies, or others. So now it says that what can you name these policies. Again, this is also very important, so I would highlight it here. The organization can name these topic specific policies as standards, directives, policies, or others. For example, it is saying that you can name these policies as either standard, information security standard, information security directive, information security policy. Similarly, access control policy, access control standard, access control directive. That's what it is trying to say. So you can name it in this fashion. That's what it is trying to suggest. But again, it is being open directly to the business how you want to deal with it. Now at the end it says, if the information security policy or any topic specific policy is distributed outside the organization, care should be taken not to improperly disclose confidential information. Though this is very important from information security perspective, because we are following it here, the reason why we are doing it data security only. So we should be cautious of where these policies are distributed. They should not be distributed. If it is meant for internal employees, it should not be distributed outside of the organization. That's what it is trying to say here. So now, two types of policies we have discussed. One is information security policy, which is a mandate by the control itself, by the standard itself. It should be there. Information security policy, it should be approved by, formally approved by top management. And the other one is topic specific policy, which you can see at the back of this video again. Topic specific policy. And here the documentation and formal approval is not required by top management. It can be approved at the different level of expertise and different level of management that we have already discussed in the video. So I hope this lays out a clear foundation for you in terms of what are information security policies, and what are the different top level information security policies and topic specific information security policies. Many people were asking about the information security policy, and they wanted to ask some questions as well regarding what should be there in the information security policy, how it can be created, who should approve, things like that. So I think if you watch this half an hour of video, it will make complete sense to you in terms of security policies. That's what I'm trying to create out of this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any follow up questions, feel free to add in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.